Hello, welcome to April 26th, 2022. I'm Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation video. This is something that I do every day, first thing after I get up, to remind myself of my life objectives and principles, and to see how I did applying those yesterday, and to plan for the coming day. Now, today's the first. I have a kind of a death clock, kind of sorts, up on the wall. It's like a poster that has a series of 52 hollow black circles. Each one of those represents 52 weeks in a year. And then of those, there's 90 of those rows for 90 years, broken into 5-year sections. The way that it works is that it's an interactive calendar. I every morning or every day, every week, I fill in one dot with a black ink, and I end up with the dots switching from a hollow white to solid black as we proceed. So I'm up to 50, almost at the end of 57, just about to hit the 58th year. It took a long time to fill those in. The idea is it's a type of memento mori, a kind of a reminder of the fleetingness of life. And this exercise of putting in a dot every week is meant to be a constant reminder about seeing how amazingly few dots I have left. Especially given the odds are I'm not going to make it, probably not going to make it to 90. So I decided, though, that instead of filling it in with black dots, I would use colors, and the colors would mean something. But this, I needed some measure. I needed something that would serve to quantify whether or not I earned a better color. A better color being green, being I met all of my goals for that week. Yellow means that I had, how does that work? How did I decide to do that? Really I had decided this and I forgot. Black means that the week just went by. Or maybe I should use red. I don't know. I can't quite remember how I decided to do it, but the criteria was that I have things that I have to do every day. And I have over here on my little chart that I keep Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way through the week. The week then ends on Sunday. So I complete this on the following Monday because I have to wait for the Sunday to be complete. Do I want to do it that way? I think that's the way to do it. Maybe it'd be better to do it the other way. To have it complete, if I have it complete on Saturdays, then I can complete it on Sunday. That's a better way to do it. Let me do that. So instead that would be then Sunday would start the week. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Great. Now, what I decided was some colors, and I'll figure this out. I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to measure it, but not colors, but shapes. So if I make my goal, I'm going to get a circle for the day. And what constitutes that goal? That goal is if I made at least one video a day. This video certainly counts. In fact, this video is optimal, making this Good Life meditation video. That, and uploaded it. The second thing is at least one entry in my journal, so this day gets an entry. And then the third thing was that I read at least 10 pages of anything for that day. You know, the rest is all kind of just smooth sailing. You know, work is a given, and I always strive well, and I think I always do well at work. My daughter is practically raised. It's the easy part now, you know, just mostly funding it through the college and university, and then being there for her as she begins to stand on her own 2 feet in the world. So that stuff, not. And my wife and I, we have a fine relationship. It's just a matter of supporting and being with one another through the remaining part of our life. So really, the stuff that makes life worthwhile, beyond those things which are given, those things are given, a meaningful work, the family, and my commitment to my spouse, those are given, and I do those. I've always focused on those, so I don't have to worry about that. But what I want to squeeze some goodness out of life. And I do that through making this effort, which is hard. I mean, I don't know if I've told you that before, but making these videos is really hard this early in the morning. I'm tired. I've got a heavy day of work ahead of me. I'm stressed out already about work. Last thing frequently, the last thing I want to do is turn the camera on for 15, 30 minutes, 45 minutes sometimes to do this, but it's worthwhile. I get a lot of tangible results out of this effort. I do much better than if I just do it in my head or without the camera on. Knowing that I'm going to upload it causes me to do a good job. And then reading, well, reading is the thing that I've chosen that I want to be the thing that I do. I read. Yeah, it's okay even if I don't write anymore. I've written well and I've written enough. But reading is the thing. So, video, journal, book. So I have to ask myself, how did I do on Sunday? Did I do all three of those? And I did. So I get a circle. Today's Tuesday, so how did I do yesterday on those three? I did the same thing. I read probably, I made the video. I read probably 15 pages, 10 pages of Life of Samuel Johnson, and then about 5 pages of my Norton Anthology of American Literature. And then that's it, the video, journal. Yeah, so then I wrote in the journal, so I get a circle. So I get 2 circles. If I can get all the way down, circles all the way through, then it's going to be a green dot on the death clock. Death calendar, really. Don't know what it'll be if I miss him. If I miss him, it's not green. So maybe it'll just be 2 colors. Green and maybe yellow. Oops. It shouldn't be a color that will fade too readily. Okay, well, if it doesn't come through, I'm definitely out of sorts this morning. Yesterday was kind of stressful at work. I'm still kind of, upset about what I was talking about yesterday about the that person that has cancer. I talked to Yumiko about that during lunch, and damn horror show. So let's do this. The good life. First, my 7 objectives. These are to be always ready to die. Number 2, to make good and effective use of time. 3, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles. Number 4, to cultivate good emotional reactions. 5, to perform good actions. 6, to recognize my true limits and my true opportunities. And then 7, to do just one thing at a time and to do that thing slowly. All right, now my 30 principles. These are the principles of war, to always be fighting against what I think is true. Next is the principle of reason, and the sub-principles of honesty, objectivity, and doubt, which are the frame of mind and the approach that I take in executing that war against what I think is true. and it's an approach to life. Number 3 is the homunculus, the suggestion that though I do not appear to have a soul, I do have a consciousness. And I get that consciousness for the period of, well, not just the period of my life, well, no. I may not even get it for the period of my life. It is possible to be alive without being conscious in a vegetative state. So I do get it for some time. It seems I've got it now. Something to do with and use. Next comes the Anchorhold, the reminder that my consciousness is trapped within me and cannot escape when I die, and there's no true connection with anyone else. We're all quite alone inside our heads. And then comes the home of good and evil, the suggestion that right and wrong, good and evil, are opinions, developed and maintained and held by us. That these ideas don't extend out into the universe itself. They are only part of the universe by virtue of the fact that we are part of the universe. And that while we live and we conceptualize, we apply ideas of right and wrong. Next comes the principle of purpose. The purpose in my life is to be a good husband and father, to be virtuous insofar as trying to pursue the well-being of thinking creatures, and to share the message and the story of going alone, which includes this good life creed. Next comes the atomic principle. Everything is made of bits and pieces, flowing and changing and forever transforming. So too you and me. Then the principle of nature. Everything has some particular nature, and it's good to remember what that is, so that we can expect it. Even if necessary, abide it, and maybe work to change it if that's possible, if it's important and needed. Then comes the pirate ride, the suggestion that free will is an illusion, a very convincing illusion, but an illusion nonetheless. And then maturity, and the sub-principles of wisdom and fortitude. We are mature when we remember our past successes and failures and work to do better in the future. Then comes the social principle. We need each other, you and me. Humans need one another. And it's good to remember that. Not to go too long or too deep alone. And then comes the principle of public speaking, a suggestion to be very careful in my communications, to use few words, carefully chosen words, deliberate words, to never ever gossip. Then comes temperance, the idea of simply limiting my consumption, being very careful in how I live my life and how much I consume and use. And that doing so, controlling my consumption, entails some suffering when I deny myself what I want, and a simple life. And to be ready to apply apathy to the things that are outside my control, so that maybe apathy does belong with temperance, because it's tempering the expectation, right? Yeah, maybe. I think so. Next comes the horror show, the reminder that life is chock full of absolute terror happening all around us, and eventually, if not now, to us. Not just to us humans, but to our pets and to wildlife at large in the world. Really, really bad things happening, and it's coming for us, each of us, to greater or lesser degrees. I'm tired. I didn't sleep well last night. The next one is the principle called that which must be borne, carried. And that which must be borne is the fact of the horror show, but also whatever responsibilities we have accepted and assumed. We have to do those things. Even when we're tired, even when we're fed up, even when we don't want to. We got to do it nonetheless. Then after that which must be borne comes the Feast of Offal, which is a practice that occurs when we get upset and we choose to tell the whole world about it. We tend to do this most often with the ones who are closest to us, our loved ones. They're a good vulnerable target because we do it at home. We do it when we're alone. There's something about our immediate family that we will show them a side of ourselves sometimes that we wouldn't show in public. An upset, angry, frustrated side. I've done it myself. Not violent in any way, not even verbally violent, but just kind of like, having a little tantrum in the midst of life. And that has a bad effect on us. And it has a real bad effect on those who witness it, especially children. So I've conditioned myself to not do that. Fortunately, the prompting is not there like it was when I was a young man. When I was a young man, I was rather frustrated with life, without direction or a purpose or having not had some of the experiences that I thought life should entail. I've since had those experiences, and I've since matured, and I've since gained control, and I've since developed a purpose and a reason for living, which all of those things together, make life more fulfilling. And even though it's still hard, I'm less apt and less want to, be frustrated at life anymore. More accepting of its nature and temperate in my in my response to my emotions. Yet sometimes we do, and then I strive not to lose my control, lose my balance, and suffer my family to experience that. Likewise, when other people are doing it as well, I won't make popcorn and watch. I will see what I can do to be helpful, let the storm rage, and protect myself, if necessary, from its effects. Excuse me. That's the Feast of Offal. Next comes the principle of distraction. We spend our lives distracting ourselves from what we don't want to see in the universe, which is the emptiness of the universe, a universe without God. Because so many of us want to believe that someone's looking after us and that we'll be provided for, and even in our pain and even in our suffering, and that there'll be something more, and that we'll see our loved ones again when the cold face of the universe suggests otherwise. No agency, no guidance, no oversight, and no protection. Just happenstance, and a burning draw down, well, not really a burning, cooling draw towards entropy. Okay, so that was actually two principles. The distraction, and then agency and the great indifference was the second one that I kind of implied. The emptiness of the universe without God. Next comes the best seat in the house. To not want to be anyone else, or be anywhere else, or be doing anything else, but to be okay with where, who, and what I am and doing. Then comes a principle called the Path of Wildness. It's a way forward into and through new life. It's a way to climb from one life into another. To summit another ridge, to prepare to climb for another one. Even planning the great life adventure can brighten us up. Experience it can be profound, both in pleasures and the challenges. Next comes the risk of avoiding risk. The reminder that there are shallow life risks, education, career, family, home, preparing for old age, and then the deep risk of not pursuing, finding, and engaging with some purpose for ourselves. If we don't do that, it tends to haunt us. If we desire that at a young age, and we don't do it, we'll be haunted for the rest of our life, likely. Next comes the next principle. Comes sin and damnation, and there are 7 sins in my worldview. There are 6 of them are forms of belief, believing for not good reasons, and being dishonest. The first is falsity, being dishonest. Then comes credulity, believing anything too readily. Then faith, belief founded on belief. And then superstition, belief that's categorically nonsense. And then dogma, belief founded on the blessed tradition. Authority, belief founded on being impressed by an institution or the people that are part of an institution. And then or institution or tradition or just charisma. And then the last one is gossip. And the consequence of all of these is damnation in the here and now. Then comes complete oblivion, the suggestion that after death there's nothing else. We won't reunite with the ones we knew during life. We won't have a chance to reconcile with anybody who we died on bad terms with, or who died before us on bad terms with us. And there won't be any final justice, because there appears to be no justice giver, just a big fat nothing when all of it's done. Then comes the season of philosophy, which is a time in... Did I do that? Oh, I forgot to do the Great Life Adventure. Yeah, which is one or more experiences that constitute a centerpiece of our life. Some experience that becomes part of our identity and our chance to experiment and make what we can of life. Then comes the season of philosophy, a time to record what we've learned. And then the bullseye aim, striving for the mark and missing. I had a big bullseye miss yesterday, just big public, and like meeting with executives and like 40 people, and I threw the axe at the bullseye, and it just missed completely. It was, in the moment, it was so, and I was called out for it, and in the moment it was so, it didn't bother me much, and it doesn't even bother me much now. I'm just kind of astonished by the absolute miss. It just well-intentioned, but that's how life is sometimes, a lot of times. And this one really helps me a lot. It helps me a lot at work, because it's rare to get things spot on. And I always remember it's just the bullseye aim, striving my best, trying my best. Next comes the uphill climb, steady trudge upwards. And then the idea is to keep on trudging, even when I'm tired. Like, I'm really tired right now. Nothing I would enjoy more than just to climb back into bed right now. I'm so wiped out, mentally and physically. But I can't, and I won't, and I will trudge up. And I know that that's a better thing. It's one of the reasons I fear retirement. I fear my life will be less effective when I don't have to push through the way I'm pushing through right now because of my job. Next comes arena and utility. Life is this forum, this venue to pursue particular things and to use my principles, to pursue life and to use my principles to help me to achieve my objectives and to manage the challenges along the way. Next comes nothing is enough, a suggestion that less is better. Maybe not nothing, but close to it. And then lastly, the principle of fun, a suggestion that it's good to enjoy life, and it's especially good to hope for a better life. Hope, and is the pleasure of anticipation, right? It's a delicious thing. And then retrospect, to enjoy looking back on the past. Now, the anticipation and the remembrance. And that's my good life meditation. That's my good life creed. Now to plan for the day. I have some good meetings today. I have a training that I'm going to lead. Another meeting that I don't know what it is. And I have some issues to address and tackle. And I will. And I'll begin now. Wish you all the best. Oh, and I'm working on now being able to have a circle for tomorrow. If I've got this video complete, then I will do my journal. Well, I'll read the Bible, Isaiah 21 this morning. Then I'll do the journal. Then I'll go down and feed the dogs, feed myself, and get started with work. And through my breaks and lunchtime, and then in the evening, I'll get my 10 pages of reading done at least. Take care. Be safe, but not too safe.